Hello, Crystal here. Welcome to another video with the Interactive Immersive HQ. In this video, I'm going to talk about Kinect sensors. Kinect sensors are one of my favorite sensors to work with in TouchDesigner, and there's often a lot of questions about Kinect sensors. Which Kinect should I work with? Should I use Kinect 1? Should I use a Kinect 2? Should I use a Kinect Azure? And how do I get my hands on one? Those are all really important questions to ask, and I'll do my best to answer them, and also we'll build a fun little network at the end. This video is a little bit more about comparing the devices more than the visuals, but if you in the future want more content on the Kinect that are more visual heavy, let me know. Right now I have two Kinect sensors connected to my machine right now. I have a Kinect Azure, ta-da, and a Kinect 2, ta-da, ta-da, and they're just on top of each other. Throughout this tutorial, I'll kind of turn on and turn off one of the devices because they do draw a lot of energy through the USB, and it's not great to have two of them running at the same time, but I'll do it in parts for you so you guys can see the differences in this video. So hope you guys enjoy, and let's get started. First things first, I need to bring up that if you have a Mac computer, unfortunately, you are not able to use a Kinect sensor with your machine. Since Kinect is made by Microsoft, it's only compatible with Windows. There is a little bit of workaround if you download Windows Boot Camp. You can download Windows onto your Mac. Yeah, I don't really recommend it. It's a little bit buggy. It's just something that you tend to just be better to have a Windows if you're using a Kinect sensor. So what's the difference between the different Kinect sensors? There's Kinect 1, Kinect 2, and Kinect Azure. I don't really recommend using Kinect 1 for TouchDesigner. You can, but if you can get your hands on a Kinect 2 or Azure, it is better. Kinect 2 is discontinued now, but it is still pretty easy to get a hands on. Like if you go on eBay, you can get a Kinect 2 for pretty cheap. Let's see here. You can get one for $18, $20. So one thing you have to remember is if you're going to get a Kinect 2 to also get a USB adapter. So I would say you can probably find a Kinect 2 with a USB adapter, something for about $50. I got my Kinect 2 back in, I want to say 2018, and that's about the time when they were discontinued, and I got mine for like $200. So now it's a lot cheaper. This one was a Kinect one. Kinect it's like $1. If you're outside of North America, it might be a little bit trickier if it's harder to get things from eBay because of customs, but I think if you kind of look in different places, you're able to find one. Kinect Azure is a little bit, it's more expensive. It's not trickier to get your hands on it, it's just more expensive. I got mine to be a pandemic, and for a long time, Microsoft was out of stock, and then every month I would just see the Kinect Azure value just keep on increasing because it was just more and more difficult to get it. So like you can see here on eBay, it's like $470. On Amazon, it's $630, $590, $400. You can get one. It's just a bit pricey. I got mine I think around like $300, $350 before the prices start increasing. But if you're just starting out with a Kinect sensor, I recommend just getting Kinect 2. Depending also on what project you're doing, both Kinects aren't really great if it's outdoors because of weather, and its tracking is not as great when it's brighter. But note that the Kinect 2 with adapter is a lot more bulkier than having a Kinect Azure. The Kinect Azure, the wiring is just more minimalistic, it's lighter and stuff. One thing I really like about the Kinect 2 though is that if you have a Kinect 2, you can use Kinect Studio 2 application, which is free. It is an app from Microsoft. You can download it, and in a Kinect Studio 2, you can actually record on it and then play it back in TouchDesigner. Let me show you Kinect Studio 2 app. In the Kinect Studio 2, you have these different tabs, and if you go on the Record tab and make sure the device is connected, you can record. So let me record a little thing. Stop recording, and then it jumps to this Play tab. Make sure this uncompressed color is on, and you can make the loop count quite high. I'm going to put 900 or 1000, maybe play it. And if I jump into a TouchDesigner network and I just put a Kinect top, it captures what I just recorded. So it'll hijack and let TouchDesigner think that there's a sensor and can just keep on playing this. So if I put it in color, I can see myself what I just recorded, and it'll just loop through because I set it to loop. And this is really great for testing, so you don't have to constantly stand up and go in front of camera and make sure you have everything. And then also, if you don't have a Kinect sensor connected, if you're working in a cafe, but you did a little test recording, then you can just play that recording. Note that the recording is usually pretty big. So if you just do like a 5-minute recording, it could be like 3 gigabytes or more. So don't do something really crazy if you don't have the memory to do so. And what's so great about Kinect Studio 2 is you can also get the skeleton data. So if I do a Kinect chop, you can see that also capture all this chop data, where my elbow is, where my hand, my wrist, where my knees, my shoulders are. And you can add more. So world space is XYZ axis. So in 3D space, there's also color, space, position. You can get the UV in 2D. There's interaction, which is your hands opening and closing, but you can also get your bone rotation, how many players, if there's, you can go up to, I believe, I want to say 6 players, but once after 3, I don't recommend too much after 3 people, and it also gets really messy. So you see this 2-player, there's already all these more data lines out. And actually the Kinect 2 chop, you can get more things, more options than a Kinect Azure. So if I do a Kinect Azure, it doesn't give you the option for interaction or for face tracking. And when you put a Kinect Azure, you notice that you have a error, and it's because it also needs to refer to a Kinect Azure top. Close this up. So Kinect Azure, it needs to see a Kinect top. So here I can directly just drag this Kinect Azure top, and now it's happy. If I go to my hand here.
Hey there, sorry to pause the video, but I wanted to share something with you real quick. Right now you can get 50% off the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro. The HQ Pro is the only comprehensive educational resource and community of its kind for TouchDesigner professionals, immersive designers, and creative tech pros. We've got over 200 hours of video courses and training, a private Facebook group where Matthew Reagan, myself, and our other teachers answer your questions daily, and we just launched the first mini degree program for immersive media and interactive tech pros. If this sounds interesting, click the link in the description to learn more about the HQ Pro and join for 50% off. Remember, offer ends February 28th.
It captures the data. So what's the difference between the technology of a Kinect 2 and a Kinect Azure? So they both do skeleton tracking, but they use different methods of skeleton tracking, where Kinect Azure uses machine learning, and it's constantly kind of trying to improve on this machine learning technology, whereas Kinect 2 uses random forest model. And feel free to look more into random forest model technology, but I tend to think the Kinect 2 is a bit more faster and reliable than a Kinect Azure. But I think the Kinect Azure captures the person's, your skeleton, or whoever, not yours, or whoever's skeleton before the Kinect 2. So kind of there's that kind of trade-off. I think if you're starting out, I still recommend a Kinect 2 because you can also use a Kinect Studio 2 app. And there's just, I find it a little bit more buggy with Azure yet. But the Kinect Azure's camera is amazing. So kind of show you over here, Kinect Azure. I'm gonna change this to be color. And see me over here. And this, I'll turn this on. The two devices on top of each other. So, but you can tell that the Azure camera is a lot more fine and nice. So let's build a little network together. I'm gonna delete this, and I'm gonna start first with a Kinect 2 sensor. So when you have a Kinect 2 on, it automatically puts the image for the depth. And you can kind of play around with the different types. So color, we saw that just a little bit earlier. And then there's infrared. There is raw depth, color point cloud, and depth point cloud. Note that you can only have one type of image per network. So if I copy and paste this, it's like, hey, you have two colors, data is already being used, I'm not happy. But if I change to depth, it's cool. And if some of them, like the depth, if I click on the middle mouse button, I see that the size is 512 to 424, whereas this is 1920 by 1080. So I can click on this camera remap, and then I'll set it to be the same 1920 by 1080. But if I copy and paste this, again, it's like, hey, you already have a depth remap, a depth image with a remap color one, but if I turn this off, it's okay because they're different. One is 512, one's 420. And it's similar with the Kinect Azure. So you have a Kinect Azure top. But if I copy and paste this, it's like you already have a Kinect Azure top, you don't need two. Rather than using another Kinect Azure top, you use a Kinect Azure select. And in this select, you refer to which Kinect sensor you're looking at. So it's like you drag this. It's like, okay, I'm looking at this one. It refers to it. And then in this one, I can change it to like color, IR, and stuff. But this actually allows you to have duplicates of a type. So if I had this one to be color, and I also have this to be color, it's fine. It's not angry. And you can actually have multiple ones. So that's one plus thing of a Kinect Azure versus a Kinect top. But if you do want like multiple of one type for a Kinect top, you can also just use like a select. And select that too. Cool. So I have a Kinect top, and what I'm going to do is have this to be color, and I want this background. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get out of this network and actually lock this. Then I just have the background of this of this. Yeah. So you have then I put another Kinect top, and I'm gonna change this to be player index, and also turn on camera map. So then now it's also 1920 by 1080. So Kinect's are the index, you kind of don't really see like what's happening. We're going to add a threshold. This threshold, I'm going to lower this threshold count to be like 0.05. And now if I go in front of my camera, I can see my silhouette. You can kind of also see the player index silhouette. But the background's black. I want to be clear. So I'm going to have the Kinect 2 top. I'm going to change the pixel format to be 16-bit float. And now I'm going to go back on camera and just see my silhouette. You can see the edges are pretty noisy, so I will add a blur after this. I'll change the pre-shrink to be something high, like 5, and I will add a feedback, and I'm a little bit lazy right now, so I'm going to use a palette tool feedback. And I go back. Then it's not as noticeable of the noisy edges. Cool. And then I'm gonna add a displace. Pipe this to the first one, pipe this to the second one. I'm gonna change displace weight to something small like 0.05, 0.05. Add a null, call this out. I'll have this as my background just so you can kind of see what's happening a little bit better. Let's see. I'm changing in the background. Cool. I'm gonna make the same thing, but with the Kinect Azure. I'm gonna turn this off just so it's not too crazy. And I'm gonna add a Kinect Azure top. Change this to be color. Same thing. Gonna get out of the network. Lock it. I got the background. So here you can also see they're just on top of each other. So this one is a little bit it's sharper than the Kinect 2. Then I'll add a Kinect select. Refer this. So even though this is lock, it still connects. And I will change this to be player index, align image to other camera. So now it's also 1920 by 1080. And I can really just copy and paste this. Drag this to it. And copy and paste this. Have this as a second first. And you can see how this background is black because this Kinect Azure's this pixel format needing me to be 16-bit float. And I'll just have this be out 1. If you see, cool. And I'll just have this both in the background for you to compare. The left one will be the Kinect 2 and the right will be a Kinect Azure. As I mentioned before, I found that the Kinect 2 is a little bit faster. When I move around my arm, I think it captures a little bit better than Kinect Azure. But also note that I do have 2 Kinect sensors plugged in, so there is some lag due to just so much USB heavy the devices are. But the Kinect Azure, it caught my skeleton before the Kinect 2. So there's that trade-off of the two devices. And it's really, but both of them I really enjoy working with, if depending on what project you are. One is a little bit better than the other. And I hope this was a helpful video to kind of show you the differences of the two devices. If you would want to see more videos about Kinects, let me know in the comments below. And maybe next time we could do more of a video with Kinect chops rather than tops. And I also in the past have did a Kinect 2 video, which I can put that link in the caption below. And yeah, see you guys next time. Bye.
Hey folks, thanks for watching. As I mentioned earlier, you can get 50% off the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro right now. The HQ Pro is the only comprehensive educational resource and community of its kind for TouchDesigner developers, immersive designers, and creative tech pros. We've got over 200 hours of training, a private Facebook group where myself, Matthew Reagan, and many of our other teachers answer your questions daily, as well as the first professional certification program for TouchDesigner developers. We've also just launched the first mini degree program for interactive tech and immersive media industry professionals. If that sounds interesting, click the link in the description to learn more about the Interactive and Immersive HQ Pro and join for 50% off. Remember, offer ends February 28th.